Good morning. Good morning. It's the 17th of July, 2024, and the markets will open in approximately 6 minutes. In those 6 minutes, I'm just going to go through a quick presentation. My name is Tom Hougaard, and I am live trading here on YouTube. Welcome also to the people on Telegram and Divergent, which is the other outlets where you can get zero latency. This is a educational broadcast more than anything else, so it's not a trading tip service. And like in any other rights, I reserve more rights to the material within this streaming. This is session number 5. Should I actually say here that it's my 3rd day, not my 2nd day. I had a complete YouTube meltdown yesterday afternoon. I've been practicing to not re-experience that. That was highly frustrating. Some facts about my trading. I will trade predominantly the DAX and the FTSE in this EU session, which will last somewhere between 45 minutes up to a couple of hours. Today I know it will max last an hour and a half because I have an appointment. The way I trade is I never use indicators ever. I'll never add to a losing trade, but I will frequently add to winning trades. I trade a product which is called a CFD. I'll want to talk about CFDs momentarily. I trade with a broker called TD365.com. I use them because they offer tight fixed spreads. However, I don't have an affiliation with them, and you can trade with whoever you want to trade. I trade with them because their spreads are fixed and they are tight, the tightest I've found. Now, say that you're trading with, I don't know, another broker, XYZ broker, and you notice that the prices that I display are different to yours. That doesn't mean that one broker is cheaper than another. It simply just means that their liquidity provider is using a different matrix to convert the futures prices into their own price. So if you have any doubts, go to the TD365 website, and on their front page there's a button that says try demo account. It's a one-click entry, and there you can see the prices that I'm trading at, DAX, FTSE, Dow, Nasdaq. Although just be mindful that all brokers have to call it something different because of copyright issues. So it's not called DAX, it'll be called Germany 40 or UK 100 or Wall Street 30 or Nasdaq, no, not Nasdaq, Tech 100. I trade using 200 to 1 leverage. That's very high risk and it may not be suitable for you. Please use due diligence and care and exercise a little bit of prudence. I've disconnected the comments and chat section on YouTube because it's distracting from me and I think also potentially for you. When I trade, I will risk £200 per point. I don't risk £200 overall. I risk £200 for every point that the market is moved in the DAX, 300 for the FTSE, 100 for the Dow, and 200 for the Nasdaq. If you want to get in touch with me, then you can do so on Telegram using the @TomHougaard. Be mindful that scammers have set up multiple IDs that looks like this: Tom Hougaard 1, Tom Hougaard 2, Tom Hougaard A. So make sure that you just type out Tom Hougaard and then send me a message. You can also email me on hello@TraderTom, and you can go to my website called TraderTom.com. Okay, that's it. The markets will open momentarily. So this is the point where I've come up short on previous sessions, so I'm just going to do this and be silent for a second. So that should be working now. You should be able to see my account, and I'm just testing on my own. Just going to see if volume comes through. Seems that it is. Excellent. So we're good to go. These are the charts that I use, and the market will open in approximately 50 seconds. So here we go. Whatever good vibes was there yesterday is certainly gone again. So let's see what we can make of this. Markets are opening in just a few seconds. I had a swing trade in the DAX. I've been stopped out on that already. It was about 70 or 80 points in profit, but not now it is. Here's the DAX. I had a long position from 525 around here, or here, whatever it was, yeah. And up here, I moved my stop loss to break even. As you can see, I've been stopped out. I still think that a trade where you move the stop loss to break even is a decent trade. And that reminds me, I haven't actually had a real physical hello. Let's see if I can make that happen. There we go. Good morning, everybody, and good luck today. As of yet, I'm not sure whether to show you my charts where there's absolutely nothing to see, or show you my account where you'll see the open trades on which there are none right now. I use a software that I've developed myself, which I'll soon release to the public. Has some pretty neat functionalities. The the DAX closed yesterday at 18,518. So it's not a huge move down. It's down about 50 points. And the FTSE closed at 8164. And it is currently trading at 48. Looks like we're going to have a first bar negative setup in the FTSE. That will happen in approximately 2 minutes. So what this software does, it whenever one of my mechanical methods is being triggered, it'll post it here. More like an alert service, but if you want to, you can then click on activate, which is a neat feature. Although I still need to just amend the default size and the override, what we call the offset. So we're coming down to the low of yesterday, which happened at 450. Could be interesting to see what happens here. So stand by in the FTSE, please. I'm buying the FTSE here. It's currently trading at 45.7. I'm going to use a stop loss at 8132. So there should be an open position in there. Yeah. So let me just put a stop loss in. So that's what's called a first bar negative. Ooh. So you should be able to see it on my chart. So now you'll see the entry line. Let me just change this to a 5-minute chart. And you'll see here how the software just says, hey, yeah, that's a first bar negative. And here I can go in and change my stop loss as and when I'm needed. Or I can click on break even, which is a very neat feature. I won't demonstrate it just yet, but I will in a moment. So currently about 5 points in profit. I just want to show you something. Actually, I won't show it just yet. DAX is continuing below yesterday's low. So right now I'm 7 points in profit. So notice what happens if when I click on this button here, it's really smart. Whoop. The stop loss just goes to entry. I love it. So hopefully we're making some money. Yeah. Currently making £3,000. Good. And stop losses at break even. So that's a nice place to be when you can move your stop loss to break even, right? DAX found support at yesterday's low. Yesterday's low was 450. We went as low as 437 and trading higher now. And DAX rallying, not rallying, DAX is pushing higher. Currently up 11 points. So we're up about £3,000. So let's see what we can make of it. You know? So here I can adjust the stop loss if I want to, which is quite smart. I'll just show you. I quite like it. So I'll move the stop loss to 47. And it should just do it. It's too close to the current market. Okay. Don't think it is, but yeah, it should be all right. I don't really do that. I often get asked, why don't you move the stop loss up so you make 1 point? And the answer is, because I really don't care whether I make 1 point, so I just get stopped out at 0. It's a nice bounce off yesterday's low. I've done some statistics on the DAX. So whenever the DAX first bar is negative, and then the second bar is positive, it significantly on the balance of probabilities increases the odds of a back into the range. Yeah, I thought you probably thought I was going to say a push higher, but no, it significantly increases the odds of when there's sort of an alternate, like negative positive or positive negative, that it unfortunately increases the chance of an early trading range. I also have a number of comments saying, if you can make £3,000 in a matter of 5 minutes, why don't you just do that and be done for the day? But it's not how it works. You trade a methodology and you trust the process. You don't. I think one of the the worst thing you can do is sort of keep an eye on your P&L. I'm doing it for the purpose so that you can follow what's going on. And but if I were you, I would probably not be so hinged up on how much money you're making or losing at any given moment in time, but rather trust that process that you have put in place for your trading. I find that the mind tends to latches on to some key points which may not be good anchor points to focus on. For example, I don't think that we should have a trading plan that says I'd like to make X amount of money a day. That would be a bit like a football team saying, well, if we score 2 goals, we'll just play defensive for the rest of the game. But it doesn't work like that. At least it doesn't in my experience. So the DAX is creating space between the bars. So no early trading range, it would seem, at least not yet. We got 4 minutes until this current bar is completed. That would set up an early school run, an aggressive school run, this is called. DAX seems to be a little more active than the FTSE. That's also because I think the DAX is significantly more gap down than the FTSE is. I tend not to trade any other indices during the morning. I find that these 2 indices are enough. I've done a significant amount of research on the Swiss index and the IBEX, the Spanish index, also the French CAC 40. I found some really good strategies for them, but I never trade them in public. Incidentally, some of the approaches that I am using are applicable to set indices. So for example, school run can be used on other indices too. So obviously I'm hoping for the FTSE to clear this range. So just launch the DAX chart again shortly. Well, there we go. So there's the aggressive school run. Basically saying an entry above 18.23 and short below. Whether you take it or not, I don't actually know what happens if this becomes an order. I dare not actually doing it right now. I haven't tested that. I think it's just a view. Just going to try and click on that and see if it comes up as an order. No, it doesn't. It just shows it. Cool. Stand by for a long position in the DAX. And what you can hear in the background is just time ticking away. Stand by for a potential long position here in the DAX. Kind of overriding the aggressive school run, but potentially being a buyer below prior bar low. Please stand by. So what I essentially am talking about here is buy below. That is not a great line, is it? Whoa. Yeah, let's just delete them. So potentially being a buyer and and get rid of that. So when you have a strong uptrend, I like the idea of buying the first retracement that goes below the low of the prior bar. You see it came close, but it didn't actually happen here. But the idea was there. Delete that. Don't want to confuse people. So maybe we're still on the long side, but that's the difference between being a discount buyer and a premium buyer. When you're a premium buyer, you're the one that buys the breakout. You pay up. And a discount buyer is the one where you buy below prior bar low. I think I'm going to sit out the aggressive school run this morning and wait for the traditional school run, which will happen in about 4 minutes. Let's just see how the FTSE is going. It's not really doing a lot, is it? At least not yet. So I've just sat there. Usually not a great sign when it does that. I'm not doing it, but if you were that way inclined, maybe you should take profit. I hope this is helpful to you. From my point of view, I quite enjoy talking people through trades. Sort of cements my own knowledge and the statistics that I've done on price action. This is difficult though, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Doing this in real time. It's always easier after the fact, where you have the benefit of, give you an example. Oh yeah, of course I'm buying the first retracement. Well, of course, yeah, I bought into the rally. Oh yeah, of course I bought a breakout. But then when you're actually in it, and you just got that big white space, all the demons in your head comes out going, ooh, what if it's wrong? Oh, what if I lose? Or even worse, ooh, why didn't I take that aggressive school run? I would already be plus 10 points. If I could have your just moment away from the charts. I believe that there's 2 legs at least to being a good trader. The first one is that we need an approach. Some people call it an edge. You can call it whatever you want, but it's just something that you have thoroughly tested out to your liking. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. In fact, it's probably better if it isn't. Most strategies, even a coin flip, has a 50-50 chance. But perhaps more importantly, once you have faith in the system, you actually need to train that mental part of your behavior to consistently take it, consistently execute the trades. And that's where an old friend of mine, who sadly passed away about a year ago to the day. So School Run has just launched. David Paul, a fantastic human being, he said that to him, the best way of implementing an ironclad trading psychology would be to go through a series of sequences. He mentioned 30 trades, where you trade 30 trades consecutively using your methodology at a stake size that doesn't cause you any kind of mental hiccups. And then once you've just executed them, what's going to happen is that by around the 15th trade, you all of a sudden just become used to taking trade after trade after trade, which is obviously where you really want to be. Let me get back to the charts. Good to see you. FTSE was trying. I am tempted to add to the FTSE. I think I'm going to add to the FTSE here at 51.58. 1 second, see if I can get a better price. I'm adding to the FTSE at 58.3. I'm going to use a stop loss at 46. So let me just so adding to a trade is obviously not to everyone's liking. Yes, if the market trends, it'll be great. You'll make more money. But you're also diluting your average price. So it's certainly not for everybody. But I wanted to show a real live example of how it's done. I was just waiting for the right opportunity. Seems like that was not it. But you swing and miss, right? So what the automated software is saying is that we got a School Run short at 499. It's currently trading at 513. And we have a long. SIS stands for School Run Strategy at 538, which is, so it's basically just above this candle here's high and below this candle's low. So let's check on our FTSE position where we added. Okay, so here's a good example of what it's like when you actually have added to a winner, and that too becomes profitable. Well, it was for a second. So there's my position aggregate. And stand by in the DAX for a school run long. I'll put the line in so you can see it. Calls for a long at 38.9, call it 39. There's the FTSE. Currently making about £5,000. Okay, so I've been told that if I press the view, it will only show the line. So that's what I'll do. So now, there you go. So there you can see the lines. Thank you. Where does it say trade? Here. Oh, up there. So I think if I press that button there or there, it will implement it as an order. All right, let me just try that. Oh, cool. Let me just go and check that. Yeah, there it is. That is so smart. Genius. So there we go. So now I know. So if I press the trade, it will place it as an order. All right, cool. Oh, footsie, come on. The DAX seems to be range bound, and the footsie is teasing me. Sterling dollar has reached 130. I'm placing a buy order at 38. It's pretty smart. If you hold the shift button down to see when you drag, it just tell you. And then if you hold the control button, you can place a sell order. And you can place them really quick. It's like, wow. You just sort of hold the button and you can move the cursor up and down. You're just holding the shift button down right now. Amazing. Anyway, so I got a long signal that I placed an order for in the DAX at 38. That's a school run. School run long. Come on, footsie. You got this. See, adding to winning positions isn't necessarily a recipe for good things. I want to show you a 15-minute chart of the DAX. So this is the open. Now this low down here, was just below yesterday's low by about 10 points. So it's a classic, just if there was any stop losses down there. I think my friend over at Inner Circle Trader, he calls it liquidity. So maybe they grabbed liquidity. So we'll go with that. It sounds a lot posher than the way I explain it. So down here is yesterday's low, and we just went below. I heard an old timer, he called it crack and snap. Michael, he calls it liquidity grab. Some would call it a fake out or a fake down. In Denmark, we have an expression, when you have a beautiful child, it goes something like this. A beautiful child has many names, or a dear child has many names. Parents will know what I mean. You know, you call them, all right, munchkin and all of that palaver. Anyway, so here we go. So there was a move below yesterday's low. Technical analyst Murphy and also Edward and McGee, they just called it testing support. And that's exactly what we've done. Tested support. And if we go back to the 15-minute chart, so we had a good push higher, a lovely bull bar. And now we have the second bar here, but now we got inside bars. And that is not great. Doesn't mean calamity Jane, but it's just generally not great for a mechanical approach when you begin to see inside bars, especially when you have two inside bars after another. And now my FTSE position is not going well. And you can see how a big winning position is now actually losing. So I think what I'll do is, I haven't actually tested this button here, but I think I will, actually we are just coming down to see the support down here. I'll just give it a little bit more time, and then I'll pay the consequences. No, it's not going well now, is it? I'm just putting my account up so you can follow it in real time. But there's no point in beginning to say things like, oh, if I had only closed. Just, we live by the sword and we die by the sword. If there's anything to learn, then learn it after the session is over. Not while we're at the table, right? I'm just going to delete this order here in the DAX. And we have this low here to contend with. And we're just sort of stuck in the middle. Yeah, not looking so good in the FTSE. DAX looks like it want to. I'm looking for a short position and the DAX at around 18,498. Stand by in the DAX, please. I'm shorting the DAX here. It's currently trading at 499. have been stopped out of FTSE. As you can see, I'm short the DAX at 499. So that's the school run strategy that has triggered. It sort of ran quickly, 20 points in my favor. But it's not looking too bad. I'll be keen to move the stop loss down. I'm going to move the stop loss down to 506. Just want to make sure that that is actually reflected. Yeah, it is. Cool. Software's working. Beautiful. No follow through. We have a nice double bottom in the FTSE on a 5-minute chart. So just be mindful that if the FTSE in the next 10 minutes start trading above 81.50, then that's actually a buy signal. I have a tiny profit in the DAX. I'll move my stop loss to 502. So stop loss is about as tight as it can be. Now we just need a little bit of luck. Oh. Continuation. Let me show you the FTSE. And the DAX. I can just hide the lines for a second. I can do that as well. So I'm short because of this candle here's low was breached. And my stop loss is currently where my cursor is. And here are my entries. Entry and stop. My stop was up here, I moved it down to as close as I physically can, and I'm making about 18 points. You'll notice that I'm showing the amount of points I'm making. I could also show you, I can show it as a, here, I can also show it as the amount of money I'm making. But I prefer just to show it as points. It makes it more less emotional. Of course, I still got this to look at. So DAX is breaking below the last 15-minute bar. It's just a question of if there's enough momentum to push it to new lows for the day. FTSE seems to think so. I'm currently plus 20 DAX points. About £5,000 in profit. Just hoping that the DAX will continue. So if I press this button here, my position will move stop loss to break even. So you should watch that. Whoa, there we go. Smart. Come on, DAX. I actually have a mug that someone who attended a talk that I did had made up. I get these wonderful presents from people. Someone made a lamp with the logo of Best Loser Wins. I got several table protectors with the bull and bear sign. That's really cool. And then someone made me a mug that had engraved, "Don't short the DAX." It's bloody brilliant. I'll show you at some point when I'm drinking out of that. It's currently about 4,000 in profit. And notice the FTSE sort of paving the way. I wonder if we're going to get new lows. It's the point where I look at what the Wall Street is doing. Yay! It's lovely, isn't it? It's a great feeling when a position is just sliding in your favor. Currently about 40 points in profit. Lovely feeling. I'm gonna add to my DAX position. Stand by, please. I'm adding to my DAX here at 64.5. I'm gonna put a stop loss at 83. I put a stop loss on the second one at 83 as well. Come on. Oh, sorry. Thank you. So, it's looking good. So I'm going to take profit now in the DAX. I'm closing one here at 54. I'm closing another one here at 54. All right. That was a good trade. I think it made about £10,000. Let's just have a look. 8,700. Yeah, about 10,000. So, I think that I think that will conclude my morning. I hope that this was educational for you. Oh, I better post in Telegram that I closed the bloody thing. Oops. Yeah, the electronics behind it is still baffling me a little bit. I got Telegram, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, if you had a good profit, stay calm. Don't let that dopamine decompress, and be ready for the next one. I'm going to call it a day now. I've been trading for about an hour and a half, and that'll do for me. I think I have a PowerPoint that sort of is it's a good way to end this. Take care. No, that wasn't the one. It was this one. Thank you so much for today. Look after yourself. Bye-bye.